I am your teacher, broadcaster Annie, and with me, you can be anyone you dream of being. You are now watching DepEd TV. In this episode, my dear grade 10, we will continue discussing evaluating and making judgments. This time, we will evaluate speeches. Before we could evaluate the speech, let's take a quick look at the speaker's life. He is Rolihlahla Mandela, more popularly known as Nelson Mandela. The name Nelson was said to have been given by one of his teachers. He was South Africa's first black president. Known for his resistance to apartheid, a system of racial discrimination or segregation, he made a number of memorable speeches as he is considered to be one of the most inspirational leaders in history. South Africa is known for its great natural beauty and cultural diversity. It has even been nicknamed the Rainbow Nation. Unfortunately, there was an enormous racial divide in South Africa at the time Nelson Mandela was growing up. Because of this, Nelson Mandela felt the need to strive for equal rights, so he joined the African National Congress, or the ANC. He became an activist, which made the authorities dislike him. By the way, ANC is a political group that is still around today, and it continues to strive for equal rights for whites and blacks. In 1956 and 1962, he was arrested for treason and spent 5 years in prison each time he was arrested. But his years in prison did not stop in his struggle for equality. After being released both times, he helped form a secret military group. All in all, Nelson Mandela spent his next 27 years in prison, but he did not give up. He made use of his time wisely, which made him an inspiration for the people of South Africa, especially for the black community. A Free Nelson Mandela crusade and a call for anti-apartheid was supported by countries all over the world. So in 1989, South Africa's President F.R. de Klerk met with him and he was released in 1990. In 1991, he became the president of ANC and worked with President F.R. de Klerk. And they won the Nobel Peace Prize in 1993 for making South Africa a more peaceful place. He became the first black president of South Africa from 1994 to 1999, and his advocacy for equality lives on even outside politics. He created the Nelson Mandela Foundation to promote equality, freedom, and peace. Wow, it was an honor to present to you the tidbits of Nelson Mandela's move towards equality. Were you inspired? If yes, likewise. This will help you with your task. We have 2 tasks for this episode, and this first task will be about an excerpt from one of Nelson Mandela's speeches, which highlights fighting poverty. I suggest that you take down some notes for the key points as we read it. Before we proceed, let us unlock the meanings of some words that were used in this speech even before we start reading it. Number 1 is poverty. It is the state or condition of having little or no money, or means of support, or the condition of being poor. Now, let us use poverty in a sentence. Poverty should not stop us from continuing our education. Our second word is oppression. It is a noun, which means the exercise of authority or power in a burdensome, cruel, or unjust manner. Now, we will use this word in a sentence. After his experience of oppression, his faith in God became stronger. third word, incarcerated. Incarcerated is an adjective which means confined or trapped in a jail. Let us have a sample sentence for incarcerated. Anthony is said to have defended himself against the attacker, but he, too, was incarcerated. For our fourth word, scourge means a whip or a lash, one used to cause pain or punishment. Our sentence for this word is, we just have to believe that the scourges of this year will end soon. Our last word on the list is enormous. It is an adjective which means huge, great size, number, or degree. How about the sentence? The student gets an enormous amount of information from his daily classes. There you have them, our 5 words to supplement your reading. Poverty, oppression, incarcerated, scourge, and enormous. This is coming along nicely. It is time for an evaluation. Let's look at this speech and evaluate it. As long as poverty, injustice, and gross inequality persists in our world, none of us can truly rest. We shall never forget how millions of people around the world joined us in solidarity to fight the injustice of our oppression while we were incarcerated. Those efforts paid off, and we are able to stand here and join the millions around the world in support of freedom against poverty. Massive poverty and obscene inequality are such terrible scourges of our times. Times in which the world boasts breathtaking advances in science, technology, industry, and wealth accumulation. We live in a world where knowledge and information have made enormous strides, yet millions of children are not in school. We live in a world where the AIDS pandemic threatens the very fabric of our lives, yet we spend more money on weapons than ensuring treatment and support for the millions infected by HIV. It is a world of great promise and hope. It is also a world of despair, disease, and hunger. Overcoming poverty is not a gesture of charity. It is an act of justice. It is the protection of a fundamental human right, the right to dignity and a decent life. While poverty persists, there is no true freedom. The steps that are needed from the developed nations are clear. The first is ensuring trade justice. I have said before that trade justice is a truly meaningful way for the developed countries to show commitment to bringing about an end to global poverty. The second is an end to the debt crisis for the poor countries. The third is to deliver much more aid and make sure it is of the highest quality. Now that we are through with reading the speech, here are your guide questions to further understand the ideas within. I have gathered some responses from your classmates, of course, with their permission and the permission of their parents. Take note that later we will go back to this speech, so it is best to keep your notes for the details. For question number 1. What are the 3 major problems identified by Mandela? Yes, Neri.
Poverty, injustice, and gross inequality are the 3 major problems identified by Mandela in his speech.
I am so proud of the way you answered, Neri. Number 2. In your opinion, why do you think Mandela deals with these 3 problems as personal issues? May I hear from Janjan?
As I read the speech, I feel that Nelson Mandela speaks from his experiences. From what I have learned about his life, I think writing becomes genuine when someone speaks with the heart and could relate to the issues.
Thank you. You figure that out fast, Janjan. You may use that later on our upcoming learning task. Let's go to the next question. What pandemic was mentioned by Mandela? How are you going to relate this with our current situation? Let's have... Yes, Rodeo.
The AIDS pandemic was mentioned by Nelson Mandela. Pandemics are ongoing threats to our life. At present, we are fighting the battle against another pandemic, which is the SARS-CoV-2, or the Severe Acute Respiratory Syndrome coronavirus, which started as COVID-19. It was mentioned in the speech that we live in a world that pandemic threatens our life, and we know how true that is right now.
You're on the right track. The world is continually fighting against health crisis and poverty. As a student, what you can do is to take the responsibility of doing well in your studies seriously. It may not be that easy, but with great intentions, you can surpass all these. For our last question, before we begin with our next task, please explain this line. While poverty persists, there is no true freedom. Yes, Kate.
We cannot be truly free in life if we are chained to poverty. People who experience poverty, who struggle to put food to put on their plate, and meet all the other basic needs, tend to forget the sweet taste of freedom. They are trapped in their struggles just to survive every single day, but not to live a life.
You really make my day fun. Aren't you proud of yourselves, grade 10? I am sure that while you are at your homes, you have a lot on your mind. Come up with your own explanation for Mandela's statement and post it on your social media accounts with the hashtag Great Intentions on DepEd TV. Let me take you back down memory lane when our very own Catriona Elisa Magnayan Gray won the Miss Universe crown in 2018. You will have the chance now to give an evaluation of the answers of the final three. This will serve as your final assignment to cap off Lesson 7. What is the most important lesson you've learned in your life, and how would you apply it to your time as Miss Universe? I worked a lot in the slums of Tondo, Manila, and the life there, it's poor and it's very sad. And I've always taught myself to look for the beauty in it, to look in the beauty in the faces of the children, and to be grateful. And I would bring this aspect as a Miss Universe to see situations with a silver lining and to assess where I could give something, where I could provide something as a spokesperson. And if I could teach also people to be grateful, we could have an amazing world where negativity could not grow and foster, and children would have a smile on their faces. Throughout my life, I've been exposed to both those who are privileged and underprivileged. And what I've learned is that we are all human. We all want to be loved, we all want to belong, and we all want to be seen. So we should treat each other that way. Thank you. I grew up in a family filled with women, and each one of them taught me something very important. But what I always remembered is that by working hard and chasing for our dreams, and by having courage and strength and willingness to achieve these dreams, we can achieve anything we want in this lifetime. And tonight, I am proving this. I am here at Miss Universe. Now, here's the table with the criteria once again. This will serve as your best friend in evaluating and making judgments. Have fun! Write your observations in your notebook. You didn't give up. What made you keep going? Now, take it easy for a while. Just letting you know though, I am already looking forward to our next episode together. Again, I am your teacher, broadcaster Annie. And with great intentions, you can achieve anything through competency and consistency. See you again soon with great intentions, where English 10 lessons do not bring tension. To unleash your potentials is our intention here on DepEd TV.